Welcome to the British History series. If you love British history, then you're definitely in the right place. So stick around for today's episode with me, Philippa Lacey Brewell. On the 10th of March 1524, Henry VIII had a really serious jousting accident. Now, this isn't the one that you may have heard of that rendered him unconscious. This is much earlier, but it could have been fatal. The king had designed his own new armour, and the armouries had made it, and he was wearing it. So what happened, they would get on the horse in the full armour, visor up. Once their visors were down, the visibility and their ability to hear was very much subdued. It was very much muted. But of course they had to have the full visor down for safety reasons. Now the joust, for anyone who doesn't know, is where the jousters, men at this point, would be on horses, and they would carry a lance. These were very long, I don't know how long, wooden sort of spears, if you like, big wooden lance, heavy. You had to be physically fit, obviously good horsemen, and you would aim the lance at your opponent, who would be riding at full speed as you were riding at full speed towards each other. Quite dangerous anyway, and so the armour was obviously very important. Well, on this day, Henry was jousting against his best friend Charles Brandon, Duke of Suffolk, and Henry was on his horse, his visor up. Now, I think convention was that the lance was only handed to the jouster when they were ready to go at the lists, as it was called. Well, Henry was handed his lance before his visor was put down. The being handed the lance was a signal to Charles Brandon's servant, who was handing him his lance, that the king was ready to ride. Charles Brandon was already ready, visor down, poor visibility, poor audibility, and he went at the list. The king went, and so they went full pelt at each other, and the lance of Charles Brandon actually hit the king. From the descriptions, it sounds like it hit him kind of on the head, where the visor was up, and pushed what should have been over his face even further back. That's how I read it. But it splintered. So you've got wood splinters everywhere, near the king's eye, on the king's head, near the king's brain. And so this was an incredibly close call, but he wasn't, or he didn't appear to be injured. It was, he was very lucky. Charles Brandon, for his part, immediately came over and demonstrated how he couldn't see the king, and swore that he wouldn't ride against him again. Henry went on and jousted 6 more times, I think it was, that day, to prove that he was fine and it's okay, everybody. But that must have really shook him up, and even if it didn't shake him up, I think all of his courtiers would have been quite concerned. What would we do if the king died? Because at this point there was no male heir.